What's going on, everybody? Core Conversations for Thursday. It is a Freestyle Thursday, and we are going to do our thing. What's going on, Richie and Gary? Good morning. All right, let me get a couple of housekeeping things done, and we'll get you all going. Gary, fit for the call. First of all, I don't know if you saw what happened on Monday, but after we had our conversation on Monday, and then also Sunny Almond in California joined, we had some great conversations. She's in Texas, actually. We did our thing, and then right afterwards, someone had hacked into someone's account. So when they joined, it was like just a hacked site, and I had to close out the whole live, and we lost it. So I had to delete our live. So our conversation from Monday is gone. So we got to do this again, Gary. So I'll definitely get you in fit for the call. Please join me one more time, and we can just really take some time and unpack phrases like the one that we saw yesterday. So let me do my thing, and then I want to talk about that phrase, because that was a line that Ali said yesterday, and it really captured a lot of what we've been talking about. We've been talking about self-worth, talking about who we are, our calling, who we are in our space, in our business space. So it's been good, and on a personal level, lots of stuff's going on. So I feel like it was really life-giving for me. But let me get this done. So first of all, in the chat, so Core Conversations Podcast. So like, subscribe, and share. So bam, that is one thing. If you have any online classes or workshops or anything that's coming up, please put it in the comment section as well. I'd love to hear what's going on and to cheer you on. Got a couple things that are going on, so I want to talk about them. Just gotta send a few notes to a few people here. Cool. All right, we're here. For those of you who were here yesterday, we talked with Ali Green, and actually I see fit for the calls here. Let me see here. Gary, I'm going to bring you on for a second. Hopefully. It's you. What's up?
With every setback is a comeback. It's Thankful Thursday, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Yes, sir. Real quick, I appreciate a conversation the other day. I want to unpack some more of the things that we were talking about, and just also with Sunny on after as well. She was talking about exploring how we should always be learning and not be afraid to laugh at ourselves and all those different things.
Right.
But for right now, is that my phone?
No, I'm trying to stop this call, man. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's
all right, go ahead.
Cool. So I want to bring a few people on today and just talk about different things that are happening in the community, things that are going on, any programs, all those workshops and those sort of things that are going on as well. So I want to give some time to that, but I just wanted to say, first of all, just thank you for joining me on Monday. We got to definitely sit down and just talk through a full conversation and just, spend some more time on some things. But
yeah, as I was saying, celebrating who you are and what you do, and you give it a platform for people to share, what they do. And there's some words that came to me, I believe, a few months ago. Use your gift to lift. Use your gift to lift. And it's time to flex our faith in what we believe and share it. Because the only way that you and I could go further is by sharing and getting deeper roots. And the deeper the root, the greater the fruit, so to speak. Right? Like our
Good
friend
stuff.
Martin out in Stephen, sorry, Seeds of Greatness.
Yes, yes.
That guy, man, it's another story. But I'm using that as an example of sharing, not just great, but greatness.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's what you're
Absolutely.
doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Appreciate that.
so keep doing what you're doing, my brother.
All right. Absolutely. Watch, if you get a chance, watch the replay from the conversation that we had with Stefan and Michael Piercy. That was an impromptu the next day, Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday, I believe.
Really?
Tuesday. Yes. Check that
Wow.
out.
It
We
must have been
talked.
powerful.
It was powerful. I reposted the clip about the word maybe and how that opens up those possibilities for other things to do. So check that
Maybe.
out. Yes.
Why maybe is a powerful word.
Hmm.
You see, what you say is maybe, but it will be. All right, I ain't gonna keep you, man. Continue to, you continue to do what you do, man, and help people in the best way that you know how.
All right, will
All right, man.
do. Thank you, sir.
Keep on flexing.
All right, man.
Flex that faith, man.
Yes.
All right, blessings.
You go press it there. We're good. Requisite. What's going on? Richie, are you good to go? Give me a thumbs up and I'll bring you on. Um, the topic yesterday was around an body practice and some other things, but there was a word that we used, strengthening our innerness, uh, that was used when she was talking about understanding who we are and how we present and giving space for all that we are to do what we're called to do. So I'm going to bring Richie on, and we're going to just talk around some local things that are going on, and I just love chatting with her. So let me bring her in. Hello, my friend.
Good morning. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Oh yeah, perfect. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you so much for asking.
Nice. So Richie, our friends in the Pilates space, this is our MP for my area, member of parliament. So that's Canada speak for our leaders, and I love bringing her in this space because she's all about supporting local, and we're very much cut from the same cloth in terms of being plugged into our community and wanting to amplify voices of those in the community. I think that's so
Exactly.
central. So, I mean, like, if you want to just talk to that, first of all, and then let's talk about what's going on this weekend.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I just want to touch on the quote that was said earlier, which was very important, which was, I believe I got the quote, but it's share our gifts so that we can lift.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to community, community is all about bringing people together and uplifting those in the community and what they do. And sometimes all that is required to be able to do that is to be able to highlight and showcase different businesses or different specialty areas. Because the more people know about who's doing what in the community, then we can support everybody. And that's really,
Yes.
so I just wanted to connect what I do with the quote that was said just a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I love doing that because the community, we all have our own individual gifts. We all come to the table with our own specializations, the things that we love, the things that we're passionate about. And those individual things are unique to each one of us. And if we highlight each other's gifts, it's very powerful because it says, oh my gosh, like Martin's so good at this area. He specializes in this, and this is what he does. And then you showcase, and Streetsville is a jam-packed city filled with so many amazing small businesses, from bakeries to personal care businesses, restaurant industry. So I think it's really important to highlight those. And it's related to this weekend's event on Sunday. Now, I realize it's a rain or shine event. We Canadians are used to a little bit of weather. Um, so this Sunday, my team and I were hosting a block party. So what is this block party all about? Well, instead of having a barbecue, because I'm a foodie, Martin, you probably know I love food.
I
Um,
picked up on that from the feed. Yes.
I love food, so it's really about showcasing some local food vendors and supporting local businesses. And also, Styleworthy is showcasing some of our artisan markets, so specialty markets, just so you can see their products. These are things that people are passionate about, and it's really bringing the people together. And guess what? We're celebrating EV Week or Electric Vehicle Week. You probably are aware that I'm a big advocate for fighting for climate change. And so imagine instead of going into a sales store to learn about electric vehicles, which can be very intimidating, this is really about learning from your neighbors about how important electric vehicles are as we transition to that future. And so this is an electric vehicle car rally as well. So you get to learn from your neighbors, see the cool up and coming vehicles that are available on the market. And you get to see one of the latest and greatest electric shuttle buses as well from Mississauga Bus. So you've got an electric vehicle car rally, you get food, you get an artisan market, and you know what? And I call it good vibes. It's just bringing good vibes to the community, which is what I'm all about. And so that's what we're doing on Sunday. And that is all related to the quote earlier, which is lifting each other up. And coming together, because you know what, it's time that we got together. It's been so long, if you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely. That's great. Like, I mean, for everyone who's listening to this, like what I hear what you're doing. I hear like how you're unpacking all these different things. And then someone else may be like in another part of the world and in a smaller scale want to do something like that. So when I hear it, it's like, okay, well, just go for it. Just do that. Like gather people around it. Once you put your vision out there, people are going to rally around you, right? So
Exactly.
like I think of just using Styleworthy as an example, like they're gathering like artisan markets. This is like an extension of their vision to bring other people in, and other people are passionate about other areas, right?
Exactly.
So,
So it's really all bringing us together. And again, rain or shine, it's this Sunday from 12 to 8. And it's going to take place at Levi Creek Public School in the parking lot. And it's just good vibes. Come on out. It's free. So you get to come out and participate and hang out with us. You get to meet myself and my amazing team, and just have great conversation. That's what it's all about.
absolutely. Gary, you should make the trek. Thanks for the call. I didn't realize I'm talking with him and I thought he was like in Texas or something. He's in Pickering.
Oh, okay. East. He's in the East.
East. So nice. No, I love that. I appreciate that. Now, the other part to that, like we're talking about current events and stuff, but while I have you here, I think I got you to touch on this last time too, but being a female, being of Filipino background, being the first and being the only is a topic that we were talking about before, where Wes Hall had a post on LinkedIn and he was talking about being the first Black man and businessman on Shark Tank, right? And he was talking about how the importance of when you're the first to make sure you're not the only, when you're hiring the first to make sure that is just the initiation of change and all these different things. What has your experience been being the first and being the only in your space?
I'll kind of touch on a few things. One, I think it's related to some of the conversation we had before, but it's certainly like it's had its share of challenges, and it's all very personal, right? It is difficult being the first because some of the things that I've been doing to create change hasn't existed. So birthing ideas that haven't existed are the hardest thing to do because you don't have a playbook. I don't have a playbook to open and say, okay, what steps can I follow to make change? So what I've been using instead is I've just been kind of following the universe, following like what I know that I'm passionate about and I gravitate towards to make change. And then in order for me to do that, so for instance, in June, through the Philippine Canada friendship group, I was able to execute a national Philippine internship program. So we brought 7 youth from across Canada to experience what it's like working in a member of parliament office or a senator's office. And so these youth kind of like left their normal life and said, okay, let me try something new. And they got to experience things that I don't think they'd ever get to experience. One of my interns, Angelo, he came on and he's like, Richie, yesterday I was driving a forklift and now I'm working on Parliament Hill in Ottawa. And I think the reason why I'm bringing that, I know, right? It's just like people need to see, for change to happen, people need to see what's possible. Yes. And as soon as they see in their brain space and in their life what's possible, it's amazing. Their mind obviously will just open up a little bit, or their heart will open up a little bit to different possibilities. Yes. I grew up really conservative, kind of single directional type of upbringing. Linear. And, I had to follow this path. And so I did. I followed that path and it was predictable. It was, it was just a single path and I ticked off all the boxes in my life. And then I got to this point where I was like, okay, so like now what? And a lot of the change that we start in our lives really comes from us reflecting on who we are and saying like, okay, what kind of change do I want to see? And a lot of it kind of came from just experimenting. And through experimenting, that's why I do support local, because I'm a small business owner myself. And so I remember the pain it was just to get my brand out there. I knew the blood, sweat, and tears it takes for pouring yourself into something. And so just in a nutshell, I just want to say that it's really, for us to make change, it's really about knowing who we are inside and really expressing that and bringing those things outward. So telling people about what you're passionate about, sharing and really showing, because if we don't show it, we're not going to be able to convey to the world what's important to us. So it really starts there.
Two things in there. One, that seeing yourself in that spot is so key, right? So your internship and those things allow people to see themselves in you. And I think that's a powerful thing when we can open doors for people to see themselves in us and what we do. It almost brings tears to my eyes. Like I think that's such a powerful thing. And I recognize that in the spaces that I'm in. And the second part, like our title, strengthening our innerness, the things that we do and that when we finally put it out there and someone says, that's amazing, you should go after that. Or like we said earlier this week, like, maybe this will work. And then you take that step and then it opens up and then that opens up something else and then something else from that. Like we're just reinforcing who we are and who we believe that we are and who we can be by just taking that step and vocalizing it, right? So we're strengthening ourselves from the inside out. And then we don't need so much of those outside approvals when we start to face those challenges.
Exactly. And there's something very beautiful that happens when we start to tap into our inner authentic selves. Because even for us, when we're doing it, it's scary. When we first say to the world that this is who we are, this is what we stand for, that is incredibly terrifying. But as soon as we actually do that, as soon as we start to listen inwards, it starts to, even for ourselves as individuals, we start to formulate who we are and it becomes stronger. So, but you can't get to that strengthening point without doing it first. So it really comes in stages. And I think I have to say this, but a very strong support system. So surrounding yourselves with good vibes, surrounding yourselves with a very strong tribe. Mine is my family, my husband. So you have to really surround yourself with people who can further accept and strengthen your authentic selves, because without it, it's really hard to navigate in this world without that support system.
Absolutely. That's good stuff, Richie.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you for the conversation. I really appreciate it.
Well, it strengthens us, right? Like, I mean, we're going to go out into the world and like, sure enough, there's going to be things that test that all the time, right? So, Yeah, like I appreciate the testing. Like if you want to get to the fitness, like if we don't break those muscles down, they don't get any stronger. So
And I just want to touch on something which affects all of us, which is something called the imposter syndrome. And most of us, or another way of saying it is having a gremlin on your shoulder that tells you what not to do.
yes,
And the reason why I bring that up is it's one of the things that does hold us back from tapping into our inner authentic selves. That in gremlin or that imposter syndrome is a thing that kind of starts from fear. If we have fears, like for example, you could be afraid of being successful, or you can be afraid of just like anything, right? It's like, oh my
yes,
gosh, what are people going to say? Are people going to judge me? People are going to judge you. Like that's not going to change.
right.
So the thing is, it's like the imposter syndrome. Once you know and you feel it's there, you really have to like listen again to yourself and just start small. It starts
Hmm.
with those baby steps, Martin. You have to start somewhere and start small as you're building your inner strength. And
Yes.
slowly, as you start to recognize what makes you tick, what makes, what you're passionate about, you have to start with that little baby step. And you have to start to magnify the voices that are much more important to listen to, and
Yes.
turn
Yes.
down the volume of the negative noise, which can come from social media. It can come from criticism from your general community or whatnot, or family even. You have
Right.
to turn down the negative voices and turn up the voices that are there to support you. And it's related to what I said earlier about surrounding yourself with very strong support system, because we all need it.
Yes. So, Rishi, what is your, if you want to share this, what's your self-talk when you feel like that imposter syndrome is sneaking in, or you have that fear stepping just like, what is your like? How do you hype yourself up to get out of that?
It really starts actually every single morning. And so
Mm,
the reason why is because a lot of us can have a bad day, or we could have experienced something and then we sleep on it, and it could still, that negativity could still stay with us when we wake up.
yeah.
Mornings are the single most important part of our day, and I always start my day on a very positive note. And that way, when you prepare your mind, so some people meditate. I myself do positive self-talk and affirmations, and it has to be done in the morning. And
Mm,
it just takes a minute. It doesn't take a long time. It just takes a minute to reinforce and kind of recalibrate yourself after you've
love that.
had, you know what I mean? Like start
Yes.
off your day on a positive note, and it's amazing what that does for you for the rest of your day.
Hmm. Preparation. Yep.
Exactly.
It's all about preparation. Yeah. If you wait till that moment, it's too late.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Love that. Nice. Um, your people are coming through here. Just like I was seeing new faces popping up, and fit for the call. You are amazing woman. Just keep on. Totally love what you're going to do. Just reading through some of the comments here. Awesome. Rishi, thank you so much. I really appreciate you just taking a moment. And even though you're like an elected official, I always say this is where you get to see the man behind the brand or the woman behind the brand. I think that's still authentically true for you too. Like we get to see the woman behind the brand when you're out there and you're doing your thing and you're amplifying and supporting and you're cheering people on in our community. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Appreciate the time. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. You just hit the X in the top right corner, and then we are out. Hi, Shannon. How are you? How's your camp going? Claiming versus manifesting. Yes, thank you. Good word. Custom chorus. What's up, Adrienne? Um, that is such a good word, and I love how people from different spaces and different fields can come in and just echo the exact same word, whether it's getting over imposter syndrome, or just finding your authentic self, or just giving expression to those things. Uh, lots in there, and I really appreciate those words, Richie. So thank you for joining us on that. The other part to what was said there, what was said yesterday, and then kind of jumping off that strengthening inner self, was a line where Ali said yesterday that she is valuing the different people that she is. It sounds like a weird saying, but she's saying like valuing the different people that she is, meaning giving expression to all that we are. If I, and using the Pilates example, I could learn one way of teaching and I could stay within just that set way of teaching, and that is it. Or I can say, oh yeah, I also was a personal trainer. Oh yeah, I was also a sport conditioning specialist. Did some pre and postnatal. I've done some work with the TRX and Viper and master trainer for this and whatever. And then you marry all those things. And it's like, oh yeah, I really like music, or I like cars, or whatever it is. Like we start to throw all these different elements of who we are into what we do. And then our whole self has expression in the thing that we do. Does that make sense? Sounds pretty basic. Sounds pretty simple. But it's interesting how we get into a certain situation, we freeze up and we feel like we have to be a certain way, and that we can only do certain things, and we box ourselves in and don't give all of this expression in the way that we see a problem that needs to be solved, or approach to a way of doing things. Richie's a perfect example of that in the way that she's approaching her role and spending a lot of time on the environment and on a small business and things like that. There's different points of emphasis that we all have, but those things that resonate with us are the ones that need that full expression. So I just liked all that was said yesterday and all those different things that were said today. And I want us to continue to just run with that. And it helps us just to level up and just to be free to do and to reach our full potential, right? Wick Pilates, what's going on? Hi, Chris Michael, Nicole. Hope everyone's doing well. One of the things that was talked about yesterday, and I want to bring up as well as we're talking this through, is when do you unplug? There's one thing to get into situations where you feel like this imposter syndrome, where you have to work really hard to get yourself to this point, or you're working on your business and driving all those different things. When do you take the time to just physically stop? Whether it's take an afternoon off, take a day off, take a weekend off, whatever it is. How good are you, by show of a thumbs up in the chat, at actually stopping? I'm clearing my schedule. I'm taking the day off. I've scheduled a vacation in a couple of weeks. All those different things. Yes. Okay, so Nicole, right. So Nicole's comment is Friday evenings. Shannon's comment is what my body makes me. Let's discuss. There's something about being proactive, like what Richie was saying about like you're starting your morning, so you're ready for the onslaught of the day. I'm challenged all the more to find, or Rogers makes me, facts. Yeah, too soon. Our Canadian friends. Hey, good stuff. Me time is always needed. I'm with you on that, Richie. But what I was going to say is that we, in my field, scheduling is awesome too. Like, it's so funny, your comments that come in through, and it keeps breaking up my thought. Scheduling is important. And the reason why I say that is because in my field here, I'm running a Pilates studio, doing my fitness thing, running the studio and working with people. I love this. If I'm elected into City Hall and running a city council and stuff like that, I'm sure I'm going to love that just as much in those connections. And the challenge for me, because I'm always chasing after a role that gives me life, it's really tough to pick up on those cues when it's time to stop. You can go a year, a quarter, half a year, and just do your thing, slow down, speed up, whatever it is, and never have to stop, because you never feel like you're really, truly working super hard. Like, I have days, I have 12-hour days. Like, I have days where I'm grinding, client after client and meeting after meeting and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, my wife will tell you, like, I'm like, okay, I'm tired, but that was like, I'm like good tired. Like, that was so good. I had a great conversation with this person. This person did a great thing in their workout today. I met with this person for the first time. I just met all these people, whatever it is. I'm doing things that give me energy. So even if it's like this crazy long day, it's still like all good stuff. Sleep it off. I'm good to go for the next day. So it's tough to be proactive and say, I'm taking 10 days off. I don't think last time I've done that. So trying to be more proactive with that sort of thing. And then you layer in something like an elections in October, and I already told myself at the beginning of the year, no sleep till October 24th. So I'm grinding it out for a season, then take a break, and then the next thing, right? So I just read these comments here. So Nicole's comment says, it's scheduled. And the next comment says, it's better than waiting till I need it. We are all busy. So if you could schedule others, then you can schedule yourself. Facts. I can't press the like button for that, but there's no like button as the host, but I would press it like 19 times for that because that's so true. And as a trainer, I say all the time, your work is only as good as your rest. For my athletes, I'm telling you, schedule their recovery times. To take a day off, like you can't just grind 7 days a week. So we have to be very mindful of that as the person who's prescribing the exercise to live that out in some way, shape, or form for myself. One of the things that I've done for myself, in a micro scale, is I've cleared my schedules for Fridays. So I'm done work Friday afternoons. So I finish work a little bit earlier, and then that time in the afternoon is blocked out for me to just do whatever. It doesn't have to be planning for the election. It doesn't have to be working on my business. It could be going for a drive. It could be sitting on my deck and just doing nothing. It could be Netflix if I wanted to. So just block out some me time for whatever gives me energy, whatever gives me life. So the phrase that I think about the most is just to guard your private time. Violently guard your private time. Learn how to say no. Block out that time in the morning. Block out that time once a week or once a quarter or once a year, for big blocks, small blocks, whatever it is, and just have some cadence to recovery. I think that's so key to everything that we're trying to do, how we're trying to strengthen our inner selves, to find out who we are and to lock off, like Richie was saying, to just get rid of all those distractions and all those things that can just detract us from looking at who we are and who we can actually become. So Ball 905, what's going on? Love to have you on at some point. Love what you guys are doing. Portia, this is me. What's going on? Any other thoughts on the vacation? I was asking, how good are you at saying stop, at taking a break? Reading Chris's comment here. Agreed. Thumbs up. Also like to block an hour or two for myself. Yeah. So what do you do in that time, that hour to yourself? Is it like just downtime, dead time, or is it like active recovery time? Like when I'm working with a client and like we say, okay, we're going to stretch. And next thing you know, they're sweating profusely from the sweat, from the stretching, because we're doing some Pilates, we're doing something that's active, but recovery. And they're like, I thought we were stopping. It's like, no, we're recovering. I didn't say we were stopping. We're recovering. How intentional and how active is that downtime for you, Chris? Music therapy or out for a walk. Nice. Good stuff. Moving meditation. I have to say that the term moving meditation was one of the most liberating terms that I heard in a long time when it was first introduced to me, because I think of meditation as this boring, sit still type thing. And I can be still, but it sets you up for failure sometimes if you're the type of person who likes to be going 100 miles an hour and now you're supposed to sit there for 8 minutes in absolute silence. What about subconscious moving, flowing place, right? Like that moving meditation thing was liberating for me to think, okay, I could go for a walk and meditate. I can work out and meditate. I can do some Pilates, or I can go for a drive. I can do something and still be open to listening to myself and being still. That whole notion of being still. Isn't it funny? Hi, Debbie Robbins and Marianne. Isn't it funny how we have these conversations and we start with this bolstering of ourselves and knowing ourselves, when the reality is that all those things come from a place of quiet. A friend of mine coined a phrase. We talk about exercise, and he used the phrase inner size. That inner work, that inner strength, that working on ourselves from the inside out, that position us so that we can be ready for the world. So Chris is saying, yes, yoga, mindful meditation as well for me. Good stuff. I think, Richie, you're still in the comment section. If you want to just type out the event that's happening, and for all of you that are here, if you have any online events or any local events that are happening, please put it in the comment section, so that we can cheer you on, so people know what's up. So yes, we actually have some local people in the chat. Shannon saying, I don't do quiet well, something I have to work on. You know, how many people that connect with what Shannon's saying right there? That is such a common sentiment, and I feel you on that. Don't do quiet well. You know how I've had to do quiet this week? Because I was feeling like, I was talking with my wife on Tuesday when we were driving to an event, how I felt like I was like not under attack, but I couldn't find a moment, and just overwhelmed with like thinking about all the things that need to be done for the campaign, and then trying to keep my balance in my work, and so new people coming on, and having new clients always is a thing that brings energy too, right? Like you have to be on in a different way for new people in your space. So saying all those things were happening, and I went into Wednesday morning, and I was sitting there at the front waiting for my 5:30 client, and I forgot that he had rescheduled. And I was sitting at the front just waiting for him, and I was writing some things down, and I started doing something else. And before you know, I had knocked off half of my to-do list for the day, like 25 minutes in, because it was so quiet. And like my friends weren't on Instagram yet, and there weren't people in the gym asking questions, and my kids weren't up that I had to like message them, remind them to do something. Like I had this moment of quiet, and I was able to get stuff done in that place of quiet. And I had to return to that. Sound bathing helps me find peace, is what Plies Carrie saying. And then Debbie saying, yes, sound baths are amazing. I'm gonna actually, thank you, Richie, for putting that. See if I can put this up here. There's a way to pin that. Bang. Okay. So I pinned Richie's comment just about that event happening. Chris Childs, what's going on? What is a sound bath for the audience? Can someone put that in the chat? Or if you want to join me on screen and talk about that, let's talk about that. Let's introduce people to a sound bath if they don't know what that is. And Debbie's comment says, in stillness I receive. Yes. Facts. Anybody? What is a sound bath? For those who may not have heard. Vibrational healing through music. Chris is a music guy, I forgot. Yes. Like that. Yeah, music is definitely a healing. And Carrie put here, sound bathing is a vibrational tones to help heal and calm. I think I've seen people do it on Instagram where they have like, I think I saw Joel Crosby doing it. Sounds to nurture your mind and body. Sounds like it's a life-giving practice. I love it. Hope you guys can hear all that rock and roll music in the background. Does that count? Guys on the floor just blasting some rock. Awesome. All right, party people. It's funny enough, Richie talking about like imposter syndrome and things. Feeling good about this today, but I'm going into a workshop, a round table this afternoon. Who's going to be there? Multiple neighborhood services, some counselors, chief of police, deputy chief of police, and talking about community safety. So I'm looking forward to that. My days of drop-ins and working like at the dam and all those things and still being on the board there, looking at that and pulling that back to our community. So what does that look like for Menavale? So I'm excited about those conversations that we're going to have this afternoon. So changing gear, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. Let me just read this comment from Debbie and we'll sign off on this. No pun intended. You lay in a room with comfy seats, lounge chairs, and they use various size gongs and crystal bowls to produce music. After 1 hour, it feels like you've had 8 hours snooze and your mind has been on a journey of release. Sounds delicious. Amazing. All right. Well, tomorrow I have a guest on who is a developer. So has an app, and it's going to be a little bit more local content, but once again, tied into who we are, what we do, and what our areas of passions are. It's going to be a good time. Gurpreet's going to be joining us from, I wish I could remember the name of the app here. One moment, please. Where's the picture? Can't find it. All right, I'll put up after. It's all good. All good. All right, so thank you so much for joining us. Richie, thank you for jumping on with me. Thank you for the call, for joining us earlier. And for those of you who came on for the first time, I really appreciate you. We do this every single day. This is 10 o'clock, Monday to Friday, Eastern Standard Time, core conversations. And if you've never been a guest, message me. I'd love for you to be a guest. If you have been on and you have a friend you think would be awesome to have on as a guest and for them to share their story and what they do, message me. I'll chase them down. We'll get them in and we'll have a conversation. So thank you so much for joining us. And Chris, appreciate you. Christopher Childs, thank you for joining us. Who else is in here? Racy, Shannon Precor, and Marianne, thank you so much. All right, party people, we are out. See you guys tomorrow.